What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a loose graded vintage Star Wars action figure market update. And as you can tell by this thumbnail, I went a little different. Just something to give you some pizzazz, thinking about where to put your hard-earned money as you look at a lot of Star Wars action figures that are for sale. And some of these I thought went for good deals. Some of them were kind of confusing based on the sales prices and looking up kind of the best offer accepted. And at the end of this, I do have a proof card that also sold that is very rare, that sold for big money. As always, thanks to my Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/actionfiguregrader is where you can go to sign up to get 24 hours early access to all my videos. The first is a dark blue dome Hong Kong COO R2-D2. It was graded AFA 85, old style case that sold for $700 plus $10 shipping. In my opinion, I would not be putting my hard-earned dollars towards that at that price. My gut says that in an auction situation, this was a buy it now. In an auction situation, I would guess this would probably go for sub $500. That's my guess. Now, as a number of you have pointed out, I'm usually wrong when it comes to the final auction prices. So I very well could be wrong as to my estimate as to what this would sell for in an auction. But nevertheless, it was a really nice variant. Very tough to find that in such a high grade, older case or newer case, it doesn't matter. It certainly looks like an 85, every bit of an 85. But in my opinion, I would not be paying $700 for it, but it was certainly a beauty. Next up, I've got some UKG 90 grade droids. The first is a Death Star droid that was graded UKG 90, and I'm confused as to what happened on these because it sits, it was listed for 450 pounds, best offer accepted. So I went to 130point.com where you can look up the best offer accepted, and the best offer that was accepted was 535 pounds. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe the seller was throwing in some other figures, and the buyer wanted to just kind of do it all on eBay. So who knows? But at 535 pounds, that's 665 US dollars. So that's more than the list price. My gut says that there's something else going on there, and that the buyer was getting some other figures included as part of that, because there was a UKG 90 grade R5D4 as well, same seller that sold at the same time. And again, that one was listed for 650 pounds. The best offer on that one was 535 pounds as well. So I don't know if the buyer got both UKG 90 grade droids for 535 pounds, which would be $665, or what's going on there. But very, very high grade. Don't get me wrong. Very tough to get those in a 90%. It doesn't matter which grading company it is. To get a 90 grade for Death Star droid, R5D4, or R2-D2 for that matter, extremely difficult to do. But again, I don't know what the situation was there. My guess is it was probably a bulk purchase with multiple items there, but I did want to point those out. Next up was a CAS 80 grade Boba Fett. This is just a standard Hong Kong figure. This one sold in an auction for $192.50 plus $6 shipping. I think that price is very fair if you can live with a somewhat lower grade. I mean, an 80 grade is still a near mint figure to me. And, I have never actually sent in a Boba Fett to be graded, but given all the nooks and crannies for the figure mold and how easy it is to get the paint rub on that, to me, to get an 80 grade for, let's call it about $200, that seems to be fair. Now, compare this 80 grade CAS with an AFA 85. Same figure, same COO, and here that is. This one sold in an auction, AFA 85, for $360 US dollars, free shipping. And that one was in an auction. Both of those were in an auction. So that just shows you the price difference, not only comparing the different grading companies, but also a higher grade with, some would argue the tougher, more stringent grading standards with AFA. So about $200 versus $360 to go from a CAS 80 to an AFA 85. Next up, this seller always has really nice high-grade, loose-graded figures, and we're going to cover a number of different examples that sold in an auction here recently. AFA 80 plus small head Han Solo, always very desirable. This is the molded legs variant, which is the more common of the small head Han Hong Kongs. The painted leg is the one that's very difficult to find. AFA 80 Plus, brand new case style, that sold for $250 in an auction. That's about the going rate. I've seen a few of them kind of sell in that $200 to $225 range, so this was a little bit higher. But this seller usually tends to get higher prices for his figures. Here was an AFA 85 Imperial Commander. This one has the straight black eyes. There's a curved eyes. There's a wide face, a narrow face. I can't keep up with all the different Hong Kong variations for the Imperial Commander. But it was an AFA 85. That one sold for $208.50. That seems to be right in line with market. Next up was an 85 Plus Lando Calrissian Bespin. Brand new K-Style. That one sold for $227.49. For an AFA 85 Plus, that seems to be a pretty good deal. I did find some other examples that had some archival cases, same grade, that sold for substantially higher. So $227.50 is a good buy there. Next up was an AFA 85 Hong Kong Dengar. This one also sold for $227.50. So same price on that one. Dengar's got a number of different variations with different paint colors for the face. This is kind of the very orangish kind of color, but there's some that are a little bit paler, a little bit more yellow, things like that. But he's got the very tan face. Dengar has been hanging out in a tanning bed to get ready for his trip to Mexico. And that one sold for $227.50. Next up was an AFA 85 Forlom. This one, it's tougher to find this one in a high grade because of the cape. That robe that he has tends to discolor or gets tears in the back by the neck area. This one sold for $281 on that one. That's the highest price I've seen for one of those in a while. I've seen as kind of as low as $225-ish for an AFA 85 Hong Kong Forlom. But that one did, again, sell for $281, and as is usual for this particular seller, they do tend to get higher prices for their figures. Next up was an AFA 85 Plus Hong Kong AT-AT driver. Very tough to get this one in a high grade as well, usually because of the butt. The butt area always gets rubs around it. Nothing like a good butt rub, as I've talked about in the past, but this one was pristine condition. Look at the paint apps on that helmet and that backpack there. Very, very clean example, and very tough to get an 85 Plus. And the price reflected that. That sold for $302 and change, plus $640 shipping. This is the one that really shocked me. This is one I had in my What to Buy video. It was an AFA 90 Bosk. And wow, I am shocked by this final sales price. This is easily the highest sales price I've seen for an AFA loose graded 90 grade Bosk. It's the Hong Kong with the olive head and glossy limbs. And as I talked about in a video, in the What to Buy video, there was a U90, an uncirculated 90, same case style, that sold in an auction last year for $660. And I said, there's no way we will ever see that price again. Well, here we are in 2023, and this was an AFA 90. So this one didn't even have the uncirculated designation, which some collectors are willing to pay up for. This one sold for $795, believe it or not. $795. Now, in all fairness, Bosk, to get a 90 grade with AFA, loose graded, next to impossible. I bet there's only a handful of these on the population report that are 90 grade or above. I have a U90, exact same figure. And, I was expecting it to be worth, I said that this one would go for $550. So yet again, I'm proven wrong in terms of what the final sales price is on some of these very high grade figures. So somebody really paid up for this one. $800. $800. And for pretty much all of my Bosks mint on cards that I have, I think I've got 6 or 7 now. The most I've ever paid was for the 32 back B, and it was a little bit above this price. So it's just insane to me that somebody would pay $800 for this. Again, I'm not judging, okay? I know it's very tough to get this, but that is a lot of money. A lot of money for an AFA 90, but congratulations, because I guarantee you, Again, I don't want to guarantee anything, but whenever AFA's population report comes out, I'm going to enter in the item number for my U90 Bosk, and just out of curiosity, I'll see how many of them there are on the census that are 90 or U90 grade. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that there's less than 20 of them. I could be completely wrong on that, but we will see. We will see when the population report starts to be re-provided by AFA on their website. Right now, it's not up, but they promise that it's coming. So I'm going to make it a point to look it up and see how many of them there are on the census. But $800 took that one home. Next up was an AFA 85 Luke Jedi, no COO. So this is like a Palatoy example or a Tri-Logo example. This one, again, was an AFA 85, brand new case style. That one sold for $352 on 45 bids, so lots of action on that one. Now, this is the seller that usually gets big prices, and it's not apples to apples, so I will admit that. But there was a Taiwan Luke Jedi that was also graded AFA 85 that also had the brand new case style that ended right around the same time. It was not the same seller. The photos were not as good as this one. But I'll give you a second to think about what the Taiwan Luke Jedi, same grade, same case style, sold for that ended almost the exact same time. So that one sold for $352. That was the no COO. And then here's the Taiwan. Now, these photos aren't bad by any means. I mean, that's what it is. But this one had an archival case as well, and it was an AFA 85, and admittedly, it's not apples to apples, I admit that, but this one sold for $277. So that's a pretty big price difference between the no COO for $352, let's call it $360 with shipping, versus this one that sold for $287 or so with shipping, Taiwan versus no COO. I just thought it was a very interesting comparison. Pretty major price difference, if you ask me. Now, are there more AFA 85 Taiwans versus the no COO? I would argue yes, because the Taiwans appeared on Return of the Jedi US releases, and I'm sure that the US card backs were much more plentiful with the Taiwan Luke Jedis versus the no COOs, which only appeared, to my knowledge, over in Europe on the Palatoys or the Trilogos. So keep that in mind, but it is a pretty interesting price comparison. Next up was a UKG 85% old case style Imperial Gunner, last 17. This one sold in an auction for 300 euros. Pretty good price there. You know, it is an older case style, but that one sold for 300 euros, which is 323 US dollars. I mean, I see incomplete, loose, just the figure by itself sell for $100 to $150 all day long on Facebook. So to get a UKG 85% for 323 US dollars, that's a pretty good buy there. The last 17 I have to cover is an AFA 85 Luke Skywalker Battle Poncho. This one sat on the market for a little while, but it is an AFA 85 brand new case style. That one sold for $470 plus $7 shipping. So I think he kind of started around $480 or so, if memory serves, and he dropped it just a little bit, but it did finally sell at $470 plus $7 shipping. And then finally, I had to show you this one. It's not a loose graded figure, but this is a blank 48 back proof card. So this is the Revenge of the Jedi proof card, but it's a white and black blank card. So this is a very early proof card test, and I can't imagine there's many of these hanging out there, but it's graded AFA 85, and it was listed for $6,600 US dollars. The best offer that was accepted was $6,100 US dollars on an AFA 85 black and white test shot, so to speak, proof card for that Revenge of the Jedi. So this is a really cool looking item. Early pre-production proof card before they kind of started doing proof cards with the different characters printed on the Revenge of the Jedi proof cards. So wow, that is a big number though. $6,100 took that one home, plus another $180 US dollars shipping. Anyway, I hope you found this information handy. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll be back soon.